Welcome to Typically Unique. I'm Kim Aponte, and I'm here with my husband, Carlos.
Hello.
On today's episode, we are going to show you some pictures. We thought we'd take this opportunity to let you get to know us a little bit better as a family, show you some pictures of our life and some of the things that we've talked about so far.
Yeah, this is kind of our origin story, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I think our story begins in high school because I was a high school senior. I had played basketball and baseball. Also, my junior year, I ran the Olympic torch for the 1984 Olympic Games in Los Angeles. And I was kind of shy in high school, believe it or not, but I really didn't approach too many people, had a very small group of friends, kind of kept to myself. I was getting ready to go to college, and I had noticed, while I think at practice or something, I had noticed the girls' team would practice before us or after us, and there was this one girl who was just super just hustling all the time. I mean, just really working hard, sweating, and just, giving it her all. And I remember asking somebody who that was. They didn't know, mentioned that she was a freshman. But I was just super intrigued and I wanted to get to know her, but I was shy. So I decided, well, hey, maybe I'll just write a note.
So, and in that previous picture where he's dunking the basketball, that was like the highlight of all the basketball games back then. So he won't talk about it, but I will. I would scream my head off for him during that time. But this is what I looked like in high school as a freshman. So yeah, I'm just walking down the hallway. One of my friends passes me this note, and I was just so shocked because, I'm just a lowly freshman, and, he's a star on the basketball team, and how does he even know me? But, I knew who he was. We would be in the gym, passing between practices and stuff. And, I just was wowed. And we wrote back and forth for a while and really got to know each other well in high school.
Yeah, we developed a really good relationship. I mean, I knew that I had like a little feelings for Kim at the time.
We both did.
But, I was going to go away to college. Kim was a freshman. She was just starting her, high school career. I didn't know where college and all that was going to take me, but we did kind of keep in touch a little bit here and there.
We did. I still have the letters. Like we wrote back and forth quite a bit.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that kind of took us to, us kind of experiencing our own things. And then what, about 10, 12 years later?
Yeah, that was a long time.
Yeah, we both kind of migrated back to our hometown. I was working at a manufacturing facility. Kim just started teaching, tutoring.
I didn't even have a full-time classroom yet. So yeah, I just started.
As a tutor
at a school.
At an elementary school. So I didn't know this at the time, but I was working at a manufacturing facility, and one of Kim's close high school friends was working there as well.
Shout out to Lori.
Yeah, Lori was working at this manufacturing facility. And one day I was just kind of walked past her and I said, hey, whatever happened with Kim? What's she doing today? And she said, oh, she's working at this school in Ashtabula. And I was like, oh, wow, which one? And she told me, and I kind of held on to the number for a couple days. I didn't call right away, which was actually probably good timing because Kim was kind of going through some, life transitions at that time as well. So
yeah, the universe has somehow, always brought us back together and in these ways. So again, I was shocked by that communication, but once we got back in contact, it was just a whirlwind after that.
Right.
So,
and if I could step back, because it's almost funny, but when I called the school, she was teaching at the time, right? So they were like, let me take down your name. We'll have her call you back. So she called me back and she's like, is this Carlos? And I was like, yes.
I think first I said Mr. Aponte because, we're in professional settings now. I was at work, so I'm like, Mr. Aponte.
Yeah. She's like, is this Carlos?
Yeah. And then,
is this Carlos Aponte? And I'm like, Kim, how many Carlos Apontes do you know? Come on.
I didn't believe it. I was in shock because, I had no idea where he was. So I couldn't believe, he was back in Ashtabula. So that was funny.
Yeah. So we went on a date, and this was probably 2 or 3 dates after our first date, but we started making a connection.
Yeah. So this is us as a young couple when we were dating. And then that, like we said, it was a whirlwind. We dated for a few months and then we were engaged and then married the next year and then 2 kids. And this is a picture of us on a vacation. Probably we were married 4 years, I believe. And this would be the summer before Aiden, we go to the hospital for the Brutons. So here's Aiden and Carly's in the car seat. They're 13 months apart, like I said. And I just wanted to show some pictures of them when they were babies and when they were younger because they were so close right from the beginning. It's not twins, but practically, just being so close in age. He just started walking and she's still in the car seat. And we lived in this old renovated school into an apartment and it had like 30 steps that went up and we'd have to carry her and carry him because he was just learning to walk, not very wasn't able to walk up 30 steps. And just some more cute pictures of them. And I wanted to show them young and how well they got along and they were close because there will be some episodes that come up where, we talk about their relationship and some other things that come up down the road. So we'll revisit this. And this is Aiden and Carly. We had talked before about swimming and how, he's a fish and just, having a good time. We would just try to do fun things when we could as a family. Okay, so we're leading up to the first time that we had to go to Rainbows, and this was Aiden starting kindergarten, so he's 5. And, everybody takes that first day of school photograph usually on your way out the door, on your way to school. And so Aiden got to come to the school where he attended the school where I worked. So this was our first day of school picture. And he's got his 2 little thumbs up. That was his thing back then. I don't know. Yeah. We're going to always talk about these quirks and different things that Aiden has. And there's a reason for it. And it'll come up.
And notice he's smiling in this picture. There's a lot of pictures where he just does not smile.
Yeah. He was happy this day. He was excited to start school.
So that kind of takes us to when we did get the first diagnosis of leukemia. We were sent to Rainbows because they thought it was leukemia. We got that misdiagnosis. It turned out to be Bruton's disease. And if we want to go to the next picture. So this is, we were still trying to figure out. It probably took us a week before we did get the Brutons.
Yeah, I want to say we were almost there, maybe like 10 days or something. Yeah. It took a long time.
Yeah, and but they knew that it wasn't leukemia, so they weren't sure with the immune disorder or some type of disorder that we would need to be in this type of isolation because the second floor at Rainbows is HEPA filtered, locked down. Right.
So until they knew what it was, they were going to keep him in the safest place. That's why he has the mask on.
Right.
And this photo reminds me of when you can see he has the IV in his hand, and when they were still trying to figure out what was going on, they wanted more blood from him. So obviously I think that was before they had the IV. It could have even been them getting the IV in. I don't remember that detail, but what I do remember is, I went with him to a lab room right on the same floor, and they were going to do this, either draw blood or put the IV in. And they asked me to hold him down because he was fighting them. He was not going to let them. He was 5 and he was scared. Let them do what they wanted to do. And they asked me to be the one to hold him down. So I wanted to share that because my advice to young parents that have to go through something like that with your children is because afterwards I was upset, and because I was upset, someone who worked at the hospital, I don't remember who it was, but asked me what was wrong, and because Aiden was mad at me because I did it, and I was upset, and they said, you don't have to be the one to do that. You can ask them to, find someone on staff that can do it,
Yeah. Kim was very distraught when she came back, and we were kind of talking through it. First of all, for them to ask her to do that, you kind of understand in the moment they're just trying to get something done. But
right.
As Kim was mentioning, as a young parent, politely decline. Say, please bring somebody in, bring in an orderly, bring in a nurse, bring in somebody else. I'm here for comfort. I'm not here to add to the stress, and pain of what's taking place. I, as a parent, am in this room for comfort. So,
exactly.
And we had a very long conversation about that will never happen again.
No, I vowed. And there's been a few situations where, having that in the back of my mind helped me, and I was able to say, no, please have someone else.
Exactly.
So once we get the diagnosis and Aiden starts his treatments, and I just wanted to show a few photos of, life is good, him and his...
And let me mention that, so Aiden is getting his IVIG treatments every 3 to 4 weeks, right? But he's still able to live a normal life, right? So he's still doing normal things outside of contact sports, rough housing, and things like that.
Just because of the spleen, right?
Yeah, but for the most part, these treatments for Bruton disease is allowing him to live somewhat a normal life, and that's what these pictures are, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yep. So they got their little lemonade stand. Because he couldn't do the contact sports, we tried to find out other activities. So he got into Cub Scouts, and we had mentioned he played basketball. So this is his 6th grade year, and it probably would have been about 6 months before the AML diagnosis. And I'm already, when I look back at this picture, I think he looked pale to me. He was able to golf, so we'd get him out there for golf lessons. This is his 12th birthday party. That's the age he was when he was diagnosed. And there's my mother-in-law in the picture. She helped us out tremendously also when we were going through this. And at the end of 6th grade, they always have like a graduation ceremony for the kids. And I was really proud of Aiden on this day. He's always done really well academically, really great at math, and he earned the President's Award, and they only give that out to a few students. So,
and what I like about this picture is, again, Aiden didn't start it not to smile in pictures, and this one, even though he's trying to have the no smile, you can see a little bit of a smile breaking through on this one.
Yeah. So then that led us into the summer.
Yeah, and I used to race dirt track stock cars, and always tried to get the family to come out with me on Friday nights. It wasn't Kim's favorite activities, but I would take the kids sometimes. Sometimes all of us would go. Sometimes it'd just be myself. But this particular year, I had been doing it for a few years, and with some success. But this particular year, Aiden was my crew chief. Very smart kid. I had been kind of doing some of the similar things over and over again with some success, but I really wanted to win the track championship. So I would just talk to Aiden about how I was setting up the car, different things I wanted to try, get some ideas from him. And funny thing is, with his fresh eyes on some things, we tried some things that actually worked. We
the
did.
Kids had a blast that summer.
Yeah.
They loved doing that.
We did win the track championship, and when you win a race, we'd go out and take a photo as a family in victory lane, and he really liked that. I would drive him back to the pits, so he'd be in the car. We waved to the crowd, so it was a good time. We had a really good that last kind of summer.
Yeah, lots of fun things that summer. This photo, we left out two of our family members when we were talking in our other episodes. Some of the adjustments we had to make when we got, thrown into this. And so this is Aiden and Carly with our two puppies that I call them, Lacey and Kelly. And one of the things we had to decide was how to take care of them. And we just realized we couldn't, we didn't want them to be alone that much. So they went to live with my parents. So my parents had the dogs, and here's a picture of them on the golf course. And they stayed with them for actually 2 years until we were able to take them back. And by the time we did, then my parents missed the dogs missed my parents, and we only have one of the dogs now. Lacey's still with us. She's an old girl, but she'll still cry if my parents come over and leave. And I love this photo too because of the light rays that come down. I just love that. And I always forget. I said, I'm going to give a warning before I pull this up. But this is the photo of Aiden getting the actual spinal tap when the bone marrow test. When Aiden said, give me the test, I want to do the test. Yeah.
So one of the earlier episodes, we talked about how Aiden wanted to know what was going on with him. He wasn't feeling well. I think the doctors and nurses were kind of like, well, we won't really know unless we do a bone marrow test. And they were kind of saying it as not a scare tactic, but, hey, do you really want us to do this invasive procedure to find out what you have? And Aiden's answer was, yes, I do. So for me, I just wanted to take a picture of that moment. I'm not sure why. I know Kim wasn't in the room.
Well, I think because I couldn't go and I was a nervous wreck and I hate not knowing things. So he probably just did it because I was hounding him, I wanted to know what was there. But, I guess at the very least that, at least we have documentation of things. So then this is Aiden, probably one of the first photos we took of him actually in the room after the AML diagnosis. He's still got his regular t-shirt on. I don't see any bags hanging on the poles or anything like that. So he kind of has that look of shock on his face too. And then this would be a few days later, because you can see the football jersey hanging up there. So we told that story. So this is after we've had a few days to get through everything. It's
probably the first week, and he does have an IV bag on the pole, and that will continue to grow with more medications that come into play. That one tree turns into about 3 or 4.
Yeah, we'll if we do this again and show photos down the road, you'll be amazed at how that little pole right there, that's gonna change as we go through this. But some other things in this photo is just, Aiden's drinking hot chocolate there. That's another thing that he would have and gave him comfort. And the football blanket, he got a lot of things sent up to him from his school and the football team that he was trying to be on, and just the whole school district was very supportive, always sending him things.
And at this time, you can go to the next one. Yeah, at this time we started started transitioning the man cave a little bit. We talked about in an earlier episode that, Aiden and I were spending, the majority of the time during the work week there. And so we started transitioning it a little bit to kind of, we always kept the lights off. We had some sports memorabilia in there. We were watching, UFC on TV or football games or whatever.
And made it dark.
And made it very dark. And, it was just kind of our own little spot.
Yeah. So, once we got settled, we had our immediate family come up. And so we were just still not going too far, just hanging out in the room. And Carlos's sister came up and my sister came up. And, it was nice to have that comfort. But the look on my face in this picture just says it all. I was angry and terrified, and you can just see it on there. And that's my little sister, and she was trying to make me feel better. And this is Carly at the hospital with us, and I can't make out or remember what that sign was. It almost looks like it says Aiden Aponte, like his name or something. But we were always putting either directions on what to do, or requests, or some funny decorations or things like that on the doors.
So this is the picture before Aiden and Carly started 5th and 6th grade. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you can see, Aiden is not very photogenic. He does not like taking pictures.
Yeah.
So he rarely smiles, but the tradition was, as Kim started when they went to kindergarten and Aiden was very excited, we would take a picture on their first day of school. Most families do that. Mm-hmm. And even though this picture is very blurry, I think it's telling because this is the next year.
So, this breaks my heart because this is the school year that Aiden's not at, because we had to start school without him. So we didn't even want to take this picture, but we were getting outside ready to leave to go to school. And my neighbor was outside with her little girls, and I think she called us over and snapped a picture of me and Carly. But it just breaks my heart because Aiden couldn't be in that one. Mm-hmm. That's a powerful photo there.
So there's, I think a little bit of a recap of kind of most of the stuff that we talked about up until this point. And, we were just a normal, typical, happy 2 kids, 2 dog family, right?
Yep, living life.
Mm-hmm. Enjoying each other, enjoying, each other's company, and just doing the things that we would typically normally do as a family. I think when the AML misdiagnosis and Bruton's hit, it kind of took us for a little bit of a loop, and we were having to do things abnormally in our family. But we started to adjust to that, and we made normalcy out of that.
So on our next episodes,
do you have that?
We're going to talk about that now we're in it.
Yeah.
Some of the things that are going to come up, and like some of the side effects and things that are going to hit. So
I think in our next episode, or maybe the next few that are coming, but, of course, with chemotherapy, you're going to lose your hair. There are going to be some other side effects of chemo, of being in the hospital, of
things we expected and things we had no clue that were going to happen.
Exactly. And, a lot of these things some of them are small, but stack on top of each other. Mm-hmm. Some of these are very traumatic. So we had to try to provide comfort to Aiden. So I think going forward, we're going to talk about 2 things. What are these side effects? How can you handle them? And what did we do to help comfort Aiden going forward?
Right.
I mean, even to the point where we had to make, specific things that we put in his chart, and no one
Right.
could enter the room unless they read the first 2 pages of his chart. It was called Aiden's Care something, and we'll look it up.
I'll have to find that. I'll dig that out.
Yeah. But
So-
I think that's how we could move forward. Hopefully you like, a little bit of a recap.
That will be coming up on our next episode. Bye for now.